Ulianza wewe, wakaja waimbaji na bana pua wale mwewe. Franga indaji wakatusua kwa kuwa unajua mshikaji unaishi kwa miko na zako itikadi zipo kimziki na so mshiko. Kama highlight hela kwao hai make sense, no sweat kisela minka komatu na lako penzi. Siku sound garbage au kuchange suddenly. Mimi mjeshi so naweza fast savagely. Hip hop yo kweli ukapigwa radioni. Sometimes malaika heri now tembelea motoni.
Thank you. So we are back. Another episode of the Hip-Hop African Podcast. This time coming live from the Kilimanjaro studios in the DC area, the Washington DC area, and very excited to have Fid Q. I think this interview is like so long in coming because I think Fid Q is important for so many reasons. I mean, for hip hop in Tanzania, but I think also as one of the first artists that I really kind of worked with back. I think we met I think it was 2010. It was the Fiesta concert. I think Fiesta
Yeah,
2010.
yeah. I think 2010, yeah.
So I just in terms of wanting to introduce your work and kind of some of the things that you've done, your first album or your first single, 2005, Mwanza Mwanza, and then your first album, Vina Mwanzo Kati na Mwisho, and then 2009,
Yeah,
Propaganda, and then your more recent
yeah,
album, Kita Ologia, which I had to
yeah,
look at it first. When I first saw it, I'm like, wait a minute, that's not a. But then I had to kind of see how you broke it down,
yeah.
and then several projects. And so I think for those who know Tanzanian hip hop, those who know East African hip hop, they of course know who you are. But I think for those who don't know, um, I would really say that you have more than solidified your place in Tanzanian hip hop. But when you kind of look at the history of hip hop in Tanzania, when you kind of look at kind of the early pioneers like the KUs and Sugus and all those folks, and then you kind of look at the like kind of next generation, you have kind of this era in which the music that you've produced over the years has had a significant impact. And I think one of the reasons why I wanted to interview you and one of the reasons why I think your music was so important to a lot of the stuff I wrote on hip hop in Tanzania was when I was in Tanzania and I was interviewing a lot of the youth there. And this was at the height of kind of like the, bongo flavor fever. And I was interviewing youth
Mm.
and I was asking them, about who are the artists that's most influential, not who you like more, who you dance to more, but who's most influential in your life. And hands
Mm.
down, it was Feed Q. And so I think it's important because the money in terms of the industry was all going into bongo flavor. The money was going into artists like Diamond. I mean, Diamond is great and all of that, so this is no shade to him, but the young people who they were saying was Feed Q. That was who was most influential. That's whose lyrics meant the most to them. And so I think one of the things first question I want to ask is that I know you've talked about a lot of different topics in your music. And I think one of the reasons why, the young people kind of listen to you so much, but why do you think, I guess from your perspective, your music connects with the youth so much or connects with young people in Tanzania so much?
Well, first of all, thank you for the opportunity. I think it's been a long time coming. We had bigger plans for this. Some things happened, so we had to postpone it. So thank you for your patience. I really, really appreciate that. When it comes to music and the youth, is specifically targeted. I mean, I make music, or my music is tailored for the age bracket of 15 to 45. So all the content I create relates to daily lives of that age. So that's why they love it. It's something they can actually relate to it. They listen to it, they'll be like, oh wow, I can always picture myself in it. That's what it is.
Okay. And I also think some of the topics, it's like it's really dealing with stuff that I feel that because when I at the time when I was doing, I think 2013, when I was talking to a lot of the students at the University of Dar es Salaam, a lot of
Yeah.
them were, these are students struggling, will have money, trying to, in school, dealing with whatever was going on there. And to get through some of that stuff, to get through like just the inspiration, listening to
Mm.
your music. So it wasn't just about, okay, he's got a hot 16 or the beat is dope. It was something about the lyrics, something about what you were saying that was also like, so in the class, for example, we would play the song, we would play songs from propaganda and we would listen to the lyrics, and like they knew every word. And there were the way in which they kind of were passionate about the things specifically that you were saying. I thought that that was really, really important. Um, and I think I want to kind of look more at like hip hop in Tanzania. And one of the questions I have is kind of what your views are on hip hop in Tanzania in general, in terms of what would you say is kind of the status of the industry right now in terms of hip hop in Tanzania? And then how would you say hip hop in Tanzania kind of differs from perhaps in the region in East Africa, or even more broadly?
Um, First and foremost, hip hop is a culture, a lifestyle, and it is well known that Tanzania is rich in culture. So my views are it is a growing genre of music. We still need to invest so much resources and capitalize and monetize our culture, especially through hip hop. What's unique about um, what's unique about it um, compared to other countries is, we still talk about, poverty out here. I mean, about subjects that most of the people could relate. And when your country is rich in cultures, so it's easy to to get diversity and stuff like that.
Mm.
So that's our status right now. Like I said, we still need to invest so much resources and to capitalize and monetize our culture.
Now, I know
To
you
cut the
rap.
long story short, the
Mhm.
industry is still shady, it needs to be taken over.
Now, one thing I know that you rap primarily in Swahili. You do kind of mix in English. Have you? And so, have you ever rapped in uh any other languages? Have you ever rapped in Kisakuma?
Yeah. Um, I've tried on a couple of songs. I'm working on my fourth studio album right now,
Mm-hmm.
and I've impressed a lot of Sukuma in it because it has everything to do with where I'm from, the
Mm-hmm.
Sukuma land. You understand what I mean?
And I
Yeah.
know hip hop
So
in Mwanza, like a lot of people don't know that there is a pretty strong hip hop culture in Mwanza.
Mwanza used to be the mecca of hip hop for East Africa because I keep telling people that where I'm people. Hello,
Mm-hmm. Yep, I can hear you now.
like I said, I'm on phone.
Mm-hmm.
I really wanted to do this at home, but then again, just ended up here. So I have people calling me all the time. I'll try to to deal with the red button. Yeah. So I was saying that I've been trying to invest a lot of sukuma in my new stuff. So please be on the lookout.
Okay. All right. Now,
Yeah.
one of the things I also know is that was important about your work is not just the music, but also some of the projects you were involved in that were really directed to the culture, like Feed Style Fridays, and you had the open mics and the workshops. Um,
Yeah.
why were those some projects so important to you? And do you think you're gonna do something like that again? I know that I know it's not cheap to do that kind of stuff, and it takes resources and it takes energy and all of that stuff.
Word.
But I
Word.
also remember how much people appreciated it. So why were those projects important? And do you think you're gonna, do some stuff like that again?
Yeah. That's a good question actually. I've had a lot of hip hop projects, not just Freestyle Friday. if you could recall, there was Poetry Addiction,
Mm-hmm.
Open Mic Thursdays, and Ujamaa Hip Hop Darasa. All these have been put on hold because we are working on recreating our brands and how we're going to bring more solid and colorful content. You know, I do believe it has affected who are directly benefiting, gaining from it. But I promise that we're coming back, and this time we're coming big, like real big. You know, I'm talking about Freestyle Friday, Poetry Addiction, and Open Mic Thursday. So, and we might as well introduce something new.
Okay.
Again, be on the lookout.
All right. One of the other things is that in terms of looking at style and music and the ways that you infuse different sounds, because I know that with a lot of folks in terms of hip hop, they kind of say, oh, if it doesn't have a hip hop beat, it's not hip hop, or if you mix styles, it's not hip hop. And so I think there's been this divide, I think, in Tanzania, where you've got the hardcore hip hop heads that if it's not 100% everything hip hop, but I think it's dope to see how you have blended sounds and musics from other genres, and you've also done collaborations with some legendary artists. So like I know on Propaganda you did a collaboration with B Kidude, on this more recent one with Saida Karoli. And so what influenced you kind of bringing in these other sounds and these other artists on these hip hop projects?
Again, like I said, every society and community has unique culture. That's every hip hop roots are unique. Hip hop roots seems to be very intense in countries that have rich cultures. I believe to be the most versatile rapper due to my, diversity. And this is based on the fact that I don't follow trends. You understand what I mean? I'm a trendsetter. But I tap into different resources to enhance the exposure of my music as far as music growth and development is concerned.
Okay. All right.
So, that's my approach to music and style and, the so-called versatility.
Okay. Now, what about, because I know you've also done collaborations with artists outside of Tanzania. I know, well, a good friend we've got in common is Tony Blackman. And so I know you work with Tony and you've worked with other artists. Do you have other plans kind of in like to work with some other artists from outside of Tanzania?
Yeah, of course I do. But then again, my choices of collaborations and futures are purely based on cultural exchange. I mean, like what is there for me and my society to learn, It's not just, we do like meet and greet and maybe, we jump in the studio. There has to be chemistry, but also something for my society or maybe myself to learn. You understand what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's that.
And so, in terms of looking at like the future of hip hop in Tanzania, I'm interested in kind of your view on where you see hip hop in Tanzania going. And one of the reasons I'm asking, I interviewed Octopizzo from Kenya like 6 months ago or so, and one of the questions he had is, what happened to Tanzanian hip hop? He's like, everybody used to talk about hip hop in Tanzania, and Tanzanian hip hop, it's not, it's nothing really happening. And I was like, well, so I didn't necessarily 100% agree with that, but being that I'm talking to probably one of the more legendary Tanzanian hip hop artists, kind of what is your view on the future of hip hop in Tanzania? And kind of there is an argument that Tanzanian hip hop has kind of had a really strong international reputation. And so, what would you say is kind of the future of hip hop in Tanzania? Where do you see it going? And what do you think needs to happen for it to get there?
I think I've mentioned that in my previous interviews. Um, I was actually talking to them about not being, or maybe sound like wannabes or something, but also try to, to impress our culture and sound. You understand what I mean? Because when you listen to Afrobeat, exactly that, you know, it's from Ghana or Nigeria now. You understand what I mean? But when you listen to bongo flavor, what do you hear? And how about bongo hip hop?
Mm-hmm.
You know? So I think it's about time we need to, you know, to have a proper sit down and come up with something different, something unique. Like, you know, like you can be like in the middle of, you know, New York or maybe India or whatever in the world, and you listen to something and you be like, oh, this is bongo hip hop, this is bongo flavor.
Mm.
We still need to have the so-called identity in our sounds. You know, that's the only thing that's been missing for a while.
Yeah. No, I think that was, one of the
There is
things.
no identity. There is no identity, and that's the reason why there's Nigerians and Ghanaians are doing good business now. You understand what I mean? I remember a couple of months ago, I was in Europe listening to, I think that was Zef Kate or something. The moment that music started, I felt like I was in Africa already. You understand what I mean? So that's how powerful that idea in your sound is. You understand what I mean? The identity. That is something that we know. We like identity.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Yeah, no, it's definitely one of the things, again, by you including Tanzanian artists, traditional, like so many legendary artists in your music and the sounds and kind of experimenting with local rhythms and music and everything. One of the other things that I really want to acknowledge is that you've done a lot of really good collaborations with strong female artists. So I
Yeah.
remember the first one I loved was the song you did with Witness. But you've also done a collaboration with Rosary, a couple collaborations with Rosary. You did one with
Yes.
Chemical
Yeah.
Flow. You've done one with, again, Tony Blackman. And so
Yeah.
where I think some hip hop artists, some male hip hop artists don't necessarily do a lot of like kind of equal collaborations with women MCs. I don't know if I don't know, intimidated. I don't know what. They don't feel like they can. But
Uh-huh.
I love the fact that a lot of your songs with these artists are very kind of strong hip hop tracks. And like, a lot of them are some
Yeah.
of your, classic tracks. And so and these are tracks that are also on your project. So it's not only that you've done them
Yeah.
for other artists. And so
Yeah.
are these artists that you're kind of in some cases mentoring, or is it just kind of, artists recognizing each other's talents and just kind of deciding to do collaborations, and what kind of is behind some of that?
I think it's the second. But then again, we gotta give it up for these artists, especially the FMCs, the female artists. Um, they seem to be not too worried about, getting in the booth with Fid Q, something which is really, really strange. Because, I'm used to eating MCs for breakfast, dinner, lunch, you name it. So they're always like, whenever, I found these ladies, they be like, yo, I'm coming, I'm gonna see you in the next 45. I'm gonna be there. Just send me the ping. I'm like, wow, these people are not scared at all. So that's one thing that I really like about them, the confidence in them. Plus, I think it's about knowing your position. First of all, it's about knowing who you are and your position. You understand what I mean? Take a look at, like a group like Wu-Tang.
Mm.
They're like 11, 9 or 11. Official members are 11, right? But Capadona is also official there,
Yeah.
so they are 10.
Mm-hmm.
They have one formula. They operate under one formula. Like everybody got to sound like himself. No copying, no exaggerating other people's styles or whatever. Like, you have to be unique in your own way. Like from All Dirty to Method Man to Inspector Deck, to Capadona. So that's what's unique about, hip hop. Like, you can be Fid Q with, the best lyricists with, versatile with, Like you can jump on any beat and do something crazy, but but then again there is Rosary, who's like a like a breath of fresh air, plus repping the new generation of of MCs and to the fullest. So I think it's a beautiful thing, and they're doing like really a great job.
Yeah. No, you
I'm super impressed with them.
no, you made a good point in terms of kind of being able to step in the studio with an artist like yourself because you do have such a, kind of this imposing reputation and, intimidating. Like I would never
Yeah,
I would never ever step in the booth like with Fid Q. So you have to have that confidence. And I've been in the studio with you, when you were recording, and so I've seen that process. And so
yeah,
to be in that space and to kind of be able to put down bars in a song next to, an artist like yourself, it definitely takes confidence. Um,
exactly. So now Chemical found me and was like, you know what, bro, I want to go bar for bar with you. I
wow.
was like, are you serious? She was like, yeah, I'm prepared. I'm ready for this.
Wow.
And this is gonna be my last track before I go to the UK for my, uni studies and stuff. So I was like, wow, come on, let's do it.
Wow.
Just like that. There is Kesho there. So please check it out. It's on YouTube. Chemical
Yeah.
Future and Kesho. Yeah.
So speaking of kind of up and coming artists in Tanzania, who are some of the MCs that you're kind of, the folks should be kind of looking at and is some of the newer younger generation of MCs?
The good thing about TZ now, the younger generation of MCs are doing really good. I think they're representing their generation very well. Starting from, we have people like Salmon Swags, we have Liam Lunya, there is Stamina doing stuff with Brahma, as Rostam, and there is like Fresh like Max Cortez. All these people are the future of hip hop. They, and we probably soon gonna, pass the torch to these people, and and let them do their, continue with the journey.
One of the things I also noticed that I want to kind of also acknowledge is that on your albums, not only do you have musicians, like kind of legendary musicians, but you've also had kind of shout outs to legendary MCs. So I know, like on Kitaologia, you have Zavar on there, and you've had
Yeah,
other kind of pioneers. So,
yeah,
again, I know one of the things is a lot of young MCs, a lot of the younger generation, sometimes
yeah.
it's easy for them to forget kind of the older generation. And so I think
Yeah.
that, of course, someone of your status, you already know, their
First of all, they
history.
don't seem to forget the older generation.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that the older generation, when they were active, they forgot to document their stuffs.
Mm.
You understand what I mean? So their struggle wasn't documented. Now, I've faced lots of backlash when I talk to this younger generation about how important Kwanza Unit was to our culture and everything. So I have to, get them down, explain everything in details for them to get it. So I chose a different road. I have KU cool members on every album of mine. Started with Sama X on Vina Mwanzo Kati la Mwisho, and then there was KBC on Propaganda. Now there's Zavara for Kitaologia. Kitaologia is Rhetoric, by the way. So I'm definitely gonna get another member of Kwanza Unit on my fourth studio album. I'm keeping it Kwanza because they influence me a lot when it comes to hip hop and how about being versatile and stuff like that.
Okay.
Kwanza did so many things. They truly explained my youth via their art.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I was like, you know what, it's only right to to just have Kwanza on every album.
That's dope.
So
And it
yeah,
teaches, and it for the younger ones, again, it teaches them, it gives them a lesson because they
Mhm.
hear it, and it's like they also are able to see, okay, Feed is saying this person is also, let me get this history lesson as well, because they may
Yeah,
not hear it
yeah,
otherwise. They
definitely,
may not, um, and
definitely.
and so one of the things in terms of your own music, and I know you talked about kind of the importance of culture and having an identity, and in your music. So what is next? So you said you're gonna, definitely do a fourth studio album. But what
Yeah.
is the future for Feed Q? What are some of the things that people can kind of be on the lookout for?
Uh, I'm currently doing a lot of stuff. It's kind of hard for me to predict my future now. As you know, I'm versatile and also capable of so many things. That my company, Chelsea Dow Entertainment, is now busy with doing like post production for TV shows, and we're probably gonna produce a couple of podcasts. Uh, yeah, it's all entertainment. That's all I can say.
Okay. All right. So I know, and so you said you're gonna also, in terms of podcasts, so you're also gonna be bringing back some of the programming like Freestyle Fridays and some of the similar stuff, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah,
Nice. Looking forward to that. And so, like I said, most of the things that I know, even with Freestyle Fridays, everything was in Swahili. And I do think it's important that, because, again, the youth in Tanzania, that's, the language that people are speaking. And I know that
yeah,
that is a discussion that is happening in the music industry in Tanzania, where you've got
yeah,
artists like, like Mex, or even like Wakazi, who's, bilingual. So, but,
yeah.
so what is your position on the language thing? Is it like really an artist's choice, or do you think it should be, Swahili 100%? Like, what is your view on the language issue?
Um, the good thing is we know with globalization. I mean, it's easy for us to just do it in Swahili and put maybe subtitles or something. The idea is to plus, there are like 60 million Swahili speakers out there. You understand what I mean? So first, as an artist, you have to describe your supreme clientele. If you want to do it for the Swahili speakers, and you'll definitely join the so-called Swahili Nation formula. Like you do all your stuff in Swahili, but you make sure that they sound international, or maybe locally national. That's the formula right there. But then again, I don't have problem with artists using Swahili for their art, because um, I mean, we should be proud of it. We should be proud of it because we have 60 million people speaking Swahili. So
Mhm.
it's something that needs to be not to be taken for granted. It's ours. We can just be doing it in English or French or you know there's Swahili, Africa.
Mm. No, I
As you know, Africa is beautiful and kind.
no, I do. I mean, when I did my interview with Zavar, he would only do Zavar and Duque as well. Both of them would only do
Yeah.
their interviews in Swahili. So it was a very, those
And I
episodes
think
were
I
interesting.
think Zavar is allergic to like speaking English, but he's fluent with it. He just don't
Yes.
wanna use it, as a means of communication or something.
Yeah. But it was
And
cool.
I was actually gonna throw that job to you, like I'll wait until your Swahili is proper for you to interview me, and I was like, nah, you've been waiting for a little while. I might as well just go ahead and do it. So I'm finally here.
Thank you. I appreciate that, because it was,
Yeah,
Zavar. Yeah, it was a struggle, but it was cool. I was able to do it, and even with Duque, it was a we did a we interview. I think we did the interview at Rose Garden. I think, and it was
yeah,
all in Swahili. It was a short interview because it was all in
yeah.
Swahili. But yeah, I managed to do it.
I'm sure it must have been short because there was a lot of yeah, 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 yeah. No extras, just strictly years, bunches of
Exactly.
years.
Exactly.
Mm.
All right. Well, I mean, it's definitely good to catch up. I mean, and one of the things I'm also happy about, I remember 2010, your music, it was like, and this is for artists all over, I think, the continent. but you had to go to the country really to get the music. Now your music is on iTunes, your music is online, and it's
Yeah,
so nice to be able to go online and download your music. You know,
yeah,
the internet, digital media, it's just so it's made things so much better, I think, for us to be able to access music from artists from around the world. So people are able to go online and they're able to buy propaganda. They're able to buy ketology. Are they're able to buy your earlier stuff too as well, right? Online? Is that
yeah, yeah. With me, it all started with the release of Kitology. So it was like streaming everywhere on all digital platforms. And then people went from Kitology and started looking at my old stuff, so like from propaganda and Vinamon's Gachinamusho. So that's how it worked. But then again, it's easy access for for our fans, the listeners and stuff like. But it's not that good business for us.
Mm.
There is a lot of it feels like like you're doing a 360 deal with your music without being signed under the so-called major labels or something. It's kind of tricky because when I released Italogia, it came out with my website. I was like selling my album on my site, TV, and I wrote this caption one day talking to my fans. I was like, "Yo, if you seriously want me to get every single coin that you believe that I deserve to get from you, then maybe you should buy your Kitalogia on my website." They actually did that. They did that. I was making up to I think 5,000 USD per week.
Nice.
You understand what I mean? And this is true story.
And it's still available, right, on your site.
Yeah. But the business isn't good because I think I did a lot of mistakes with it. I was supposed to arrange lots of promo materials for to help me push the album. Something that I didn't do, but I'm more prepared now. So when you hear there's a fourth studio album from Fid Q, just understand the mechanism behind it will be doper than the average.
So then for people who want to buy your music, where should they go? Where's the best place for them to go?
You can just stream it everywhere now. It's okay. The business is good. I'll
Okay.
get it anyways.
Because we're gonna put
But if I
links.
release something new, please, if it's gonna be new, at least a month after that or 2 months after that, yeah,
Okay.
you know.
So
Mm.
we're gonna have links in the show notes to all to all your social media, but to your website, but also where people can get the music. Just so folks can be able to access it. I think it's really important for them to because you're not doing
I will
this.
appreciate that a lot.
This isn't community service. This is business. So we want to make sure
I
people
will
can
appreciate
access
that a
it.
lot.
So
And you guys are actually based in the States. How come you don't we don't get to see hip hop show like bongo hip hop shows in the States? What's going on there?
mm, that's a really good question. And I've been pushing it. Here I've been. Everyone is talking about bongo flavor. So it's I've been pushing bongo hip hop, and I think that it's really about more people asking for it, more people calling and asking for it, and more people here pushing for it. Um,
Yeah.
that's really what it is. I mean, everybody wants to talk about bongo flavor, and it's like,
Hmm.
I mean, it's
Wow. So
yeah.
is there anything that we're not doing right? Maybe the videos, maybe we don't do enough promotions or something. That guy on your right side, he looks like a promoter. I'm sure he has some
Mhm.
answers here.
Mhm.
Hey, dude, what's going on?
Uh-huh. Bendio, go ahead. Go ahead.
Can I just hear from you?
Go ahead. Samuel.
Hey,
Yes, Fid.
Uh-huh.
how you doing,
And
bro?
what's the question again, brother?
The
What's the
question is, how come we don't get to see lots of bonga hip hop shows in the States? What's going
Ah,
on? Is there anything that we're missing? Like we're not doing it right?
First of all, I'm not a promoter. I'm just the owner of the radio studio. But I think I'll be more than happy to bring in DMK, Mr. Ligate. These are the
Yeah,
well-known Tanzanian promoters here. They
yeah,
should, because I don't think it's only about the videos and stuff. Some of the artists that we've seen here, Bongo Flava
yeah,
artists, they don't have
yeah,
that great videos. They don't have them. We saw Lena when she was not even popular. We saw the first time Diamond
yeah,
was here was not as high as where he's right now. So it must be
yeah,
something with mechanism or something, whether it's in their plan, and I'm not sure if it's the market, because they will be able to explain a little more. So probably we'll have to schedule another one, not only
yeah,
with artists but artists and promoters, and see how diaspora can push bongo hip hop
yeah,
to the outside market. Because I know we are listening to you guys, but I don't know. I never ask myself why we don't see bongo hip hops performing here, and some of them are here. I mean, Roma is here, but I don't remember seeing him performing, even though he's already here in Maryland, you know. So maybe we'll talk to, not maybe, we'll have to schedule an appointment with them, bring in DMK, bring in
with DMK and Legate.
DMK and Ligate and other people, and then
Yeah,
probably they'll be able to, we will come up with something.
let's,
We'll either
let's just
learn something from
let's
them.
just
Hmm.
let's just throw a debate with them,
Yes,
and then we'll for us to to get we is for both of us to have common feeling on how things are centered around.
so definitely
Like
we'll do that.
we need to speak to those guys and see what's what with it, because not a good look. It's not a good look at all. We
Yeah,
keep seeing lots of bongo flavor shows, but no bongo hip hop.
I
And
think
then like
if we
there are
approach
bongo
with the
hip hop
right
artists
mind,
out there.
if we approach with the right mind, we will learn one of the two. They will learn something about you or something from them. If it's something about your
Yeah,
videos or your preparation or the music or the language, collaboration and all this stuff, you will
yeah,
gain
yeah,
an opportunity saying this
yeah,
is what I need to penetrate to outside market. But if it's something to do
yeah,
with them, then you will know what you need
yeah,
to do. So I think once we have that scheduled, it will benefit both of you. I mean, they will say the reason, whether it's them or you,
yeah.
and then you can work on it. And before you know it, Bongo Hip Hop will be here in the U.S.
Word,
Because I
word.
know even with Kenya,
I'm
you've got
looking forward to that.
you do get Kenyan artists here. I mean, Kenyan artists, Kenyan hip hop artists do
You,
perform
you,
here.
you get Kenyan hip hop artists because their community is really strong
Hmm.
and super supportive,
Yeah.
and they're actually no bias, no biasness with them. You understand what I mean? Um, I remember there was a time Professor J toured over there. That
Hmm.
was a beautiful thing. I was in the States, and then but there are both hip hop artists there, and we've never seen them performing anywhere. Even at the house parties. Like you guys don't even throw like cookout or something and bring in a bongo hip hop artist to perform. I'm telling you guys, that's not a good look. We need to have a discussion on that and find solution, because when I listen to U.S. hip hop right now, especially the top notes,
Hmm.
I really don't think that you could actually relate to some of their lyrics now. No disrespect to the U.S. hip hop artists, but you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Hmm.
Even the U.S. hip hop artists that we used to know are also disappointed with the with their hip hop status now.
Hmm. Yeah.
So let's just have that discussion, because I'm sure there is a lot that we all could learn from it. Plus gain from having bongo hip hop artists coming to the U.S. for shows.
True. True. Very true.
Yeah,
Very true. Well, I'm 100% in support of that. So, if it was up to me, I definitely would 100%
yeah,
support that. So,
and that will be a beautiful research too. If you go deep, you might as well come up with something like maybe it's not for the ladies can't relate to it.
yeah, no, definitely. Definitely,
You know.
100%. All right, Feed. Well, I definitely appreciate you coming on and taking the time. I know you're busy and you got a lot of stuff going on there, so I appreciate it. And hopefully, I'm hoping to be there summer 2022. So hopefully, I don't know if you're gonna be
You
around,
know,
but
it's always summer out here.
I know. As soon as I said the words, I was like, I as soon as I said it, but I probably will be there in July. Yeah.
Okay.
That's the plan.
Exactly. I want you to explain that in details
Yeah.
because it's always summer here. Yeah, karibu sana. Anytime.
Asante.
We're here.
Okay. Hopefully, yeah. If you're around, if you're not, I know you're very busy, so it's always hard to catch up with you. But if you're around, I'll.
Yeah, you can always drop me a text or something in advance. Like, yeah, coming next month.
Okay.
So, I can have a proper schedule for you.
All right.
I can also be a good host. Who knows?
Oh. Okay,
Because,
Fee.
I'm always surrounded by, creative people, creative minds. So
No,
that's definitely your side.
yeah.
It's the side that you have to be involved with.
When the time I went to that fiesta with you, like literally you got me in backstage. Like half the interviews for one of my articles came from the interviews I did at the fiesta, all because you got me in backstage. So it was very much appreciated.
So I just hope next year July will be even even better than the interviews. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
Alright.
karibu, asanteni sana na karibuni sana Tanzania.
Asante.
Yeah, Tanzania is beautiful and kind.
Asante.
And Mama Samia anawasalimia katika jina la Jamhuri.
Asante.
Nianze kwa kusema asante kwa kupata babe. Ungesema untaki ningedata maybe. Mila tosa di washikaji ili kufata babe. Na unavonkosha zaidi ya maji nimetakata babe.
Baby, you make me feel like a star. More than the fame, more than the fast cars. Nikiwa nawe nina fly sky high kama nimepiga na pepea so high.
So longo love ya uongo na kweli. Longo haina mchongo love. Moyo wangu ushafeli. Bila hongo bongo lenzi. Hawa ni mapenzi ya tapeli. Hiva kuna mafongo ataleta shemeja zengeli.
Yo, iki kitu ni real so kitu feki. Unavofanya